Hello and welcome to the Walking Talking topic on Surds and Indices, question number 1 with me, Mr. Barton. Now this is a weird looking question but I must admit I quite like it. It's challenging, but as long as you know all that you need to know about indices and standard form, you'll be good to go. So let's have a look at it. Metric prefixes are used to describe large or small numbers. The metric prefix milli in millimeters or milligrams is used to describe small numbers. For example, 1 millimeter is 1,000 to the power of minus 1 meters, which can also be written as 10 to the power of minus 3 meters. Now often, when you get a load of info in questions, you're tempted to kind of gloss over it, but this is really important. This kind of sets up this table below. 1,000 to the power of minus 1 can be written as 10 to the power of minus 3 meters. So we've got all our table here, and we have got 3 different columns that we need to fill out. Well, let's start with this third one. So we've got we've got 1,000 to the power of 2/3. Now we need to write that as 10 to the power of something, then we need to put it in standard form. So can we remember what the power of 2/3 means? Well, the bottom bit of that power, that 3, is the root, and the top bit is the power. So that's going to be the third root, or the cube root of 1,000, and then raise my answer to the power of 2. So I need the cube root of 1,000, and then I get my answer to that, and I raise it to the power of 2, or square it. Now this is non-calculator, so what's the cube root of 1,000? A number that multiplied by itself 3 times gives me 1,000. Well, I think that's going to be 10, and then I've got to get my 10 and square it, so that's going to give me 100. Now that's all well and good, but it's not answered the question, because this one I need 10 to the power of something. Well, I think 10 to the power of 2 is 100. 10 times 10 is 100, and in standard form, that's going to be 1 times 10 to the power of 2. Okay, so there's that first one there. Now, what about this second one? I've got 10 to the power of 12. So I've got this middle bit here, 10 to the power of 12. But what I don't have is what's that, 1,000 to the power of something. But probably the easiest thing to do here is to think of 1,000 as 10 cubed. Because once you've got 1,000 as 10 cubed, you're faced with the job of saying this. 10 cubed, which is 1,000, to the power of something equals 10 to the power of 12. Now, if you know your laws of indices, when you've got a power raised to another power, you multiply there. So 10 cubed to the power of 4 is going to give me 10 to the power of 12. So 10 cubed is just 1,000, so 1,000 to the power of 4 is going to give me the same as 10 to the power of 12. And the standard form bit, well, that's the easy bit really, because that's just going to be 1 lot of 10 to the power of 12. That's not too bad. Now, what about this? Deci. We've got 1,000 to the power of minus 1/3. I'll tell you what, this question is testing out every single law of indices that there is. So, what does the power of a minus to the power of a minus bit means? Well, that means the reciprocal. Flip it upside down. So, instead of having 1,000 to the power of minus 1/3, we actually have 1 over 1,000 all to the power of 1/3. So the negative bit means reciprocal. Now, the 3 on the bottom is still the root, so that is still the cube root. So we want the cube root of 1, well that's just 1, that's nice and easy, divided by the cube root of 1,000. Well, we had the cube root of 1,000 before, that turned out to be 10, so we end up with 1 over 10. So, again, we've not answered the question yet though, because we need it as 10 to the power of something. Well, 1 over 10 is 10 to the power of, flipped over, reciprocal, 10 to the power of minus 1. So we end up with 10 to the power of minus 1 for that bit. Now notice here, you'll spot a bit of a pattern here. The 10 to the power of, and how it relates to the power of 1,000. 2 divided by 3 is 2/3, 12 divided by 3 is 4, and minus 1 divided by 3 is minus 1/3. So it's always good to just have a little look at that. Finally, a bit of standard form, well again easy, 1 times 10 to the power of minus 1. Thank God for that standard form column, because we're doing alright with that one. Now, last bit here. We've got 10 to the power of minus 24. Now we can use my little technique that I spotted there, that we're just dividing by 3 here to predict what it's going to be, and we can double check that with this same technique. So if we write 1,000 as 10 to the power of 3, we have 10 to the power of 3 to the power of something must give us 10 to the power of minus 24. Well, there's only one number that's going to work with that, and I think that's going to be 8. So we have, oh sorry, getting a bit cocky there, minus 8. So we have 1000 to the power of minus 8, because minus 8 multiplied by 3 when you write 1000 as 10 to the power of 3 gives you minus 24, and it fits our pattern. Minus 24 divided by 3 is minus 8. So we end up here with 1 times 10 to the power of minus 24. That is extreme indices there. I really like that question. It's challenging, but if you can get that, there isn't much you need to fear.